Like many, I've often fantasized about having a flower farm of my own, plenty of fresh-cut blooms to play with, and a garden to potter in. The reality is not quite as glamorous as it might seem, though, as our next guest will tell you. From her dining room table at home, just south of Gisborne, Kate Briant makes beautiful bouquets from blooms she's grown herself.
So at the moment these have been in the chiller for a few days to keep them from going over. It basically stops them from, what's a flower term? Ripening, I guess.
Going to bloom.
Going over bloom. So I'm just cutting them on an angle, and it'll help encourage them to soak up some more water before I arrange them.
And so do you just kind of start by placing your individual flowers that you know are going to form the bouquet into their own buckets?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm doing, say, 4 bouquets. I'm going to do them all the same. These are going to go to my retail stand at Makaraka Veggies. So it's easy to just go, right, I want 1 of these, 3 of those, 2 of those. I know they're all going to be the same, so I can price them the same. And then, slowly put them together while I'm getting faster.
Though it may look like fun, being a rural florist and running her own flower farm is like any other job in the growing world, often challenging.
So with flower growing, it's not this glamorous, thing that I don't portray it so much, but a lot of the sort of flower grower influencers do, especially overseas, they're prancing through fields with their beautiful curled hair and their, floaty dresses. The reality is not that. We are farming. I'm even dressed up nicer today than I normally am. I'm normally in ripped jeans.
Kneeling down in mud.
Hunting and fishing jersey. The jeans are ripped because my knees are always on the ground. I'd never get my fingernails done.
Yeah.
They're cut short because they're always full of dirt.
As you say, it's like farming.
Yeah, which I love. It's my my favourite part is actually growing the flowers. The playing with pretty flowers, aka making the bouquets, is probably actually only 10% of the actual work. See, here's Emily coming to unhelp me. What are you going to do?
For Kate, running her own business, the Rural Florist, helps give her the flexibility to look after her young family.
What's that one?
It still takes a village, though.
So Emily will be 2 in October and George is nearly 4. Emily's with me full time and George is at daycare. They're actually named my little unhelpers. Emily's often around my feet and I have a black bin that I put all this greenery rubbish into, and she'll just stand there and pull it all back out and out and out. So I've got my drop sheet, but it always ends up on the carpet. But they love being outside. It's a huge part of my joy in doing this is that I can do a lot of it with them in the garden. George has got a little hand-me-down tractor gator thing that he drives around in. Just on Sunday, he just randomly decided the sun was out. He went and picked up all my straggler dahlia tubers, put them on the back of his little tractor and then drove off. And then he went and found a rake, put that on the back and then just started raking randomly, like not helpful at all, but he's enjoying it and I'm praising him because,
One day it could be really helpful, yeah. I suppose that's part of the appeal for something like this, where it gives you a little bit of flexibility to work around family and other kind of things going on.
Yes, yeah, and when I get a little bit overwhelmed with mum life, I might just shut the website down and then just focus on keeping the Makaraka, the retail stand going, which is a lot less pressure.
It's a lovely creative kind of process as well, isn't it, I suppose? So do you feel it's kind of using different skills from what you were experiencing day to day in the horticulture sector?
Yes, so with my job, I was spending a lot of time out in orchards, but a lot of it was office work or travelling on the road, and I just wanted to get my hands dirty again. And I don't know, it's like almost like a sense of my childhood again, where I'm doing something that I want to do, I'm having fun doing it, my children are having fun doing it, and I couldn't really think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
Kate's always had a green thumb, having started out in the horticulture sector first. Designing floral bouquets was something she did for fun, for friends and family. But she soon learned it could be the key to a more flexible career path.
So I had a background, I went to Lincoln University and did commerce and agriculture and had a minor in soil and plant science, and then spent the summer between university and work in my husband's kiwi fruit nursery, so learning how to grow from cuttings and seed from scratch. And then everything else has been self-taught, and I guess a element of winging it.
Same with the putting together the bouquets and...
Yes, yeah, so lots of, did an online course, lots of YouTube. My mother-in-law is a florist as well, so I spend lots of time with her. And yeah, practice makes perfect. I just look at my original bouquets and just laugh. When I had George, I didn't think I was going to put my career on hold for long. I thought, I'll do the 6 months, 1 year, and then I'll get straight back into it. And it's not until you become a mum that you realise that it's not it's not as simple as what you thought when you didn't have a baby. And then contemplated going back to my career, and then realised I'd have to put George in daycare to be able to give my career give it a good go. And I wasn't ready to do that, so I had already developed a really big garden at our old house from scratch and had grown most of that from seeds and cuttings. Mum was a great gardener, so was my grandma. I studied agriculture at university, so I was always interested in how things grow, and loved just every time we'd go out for dinner or someone's birthday, I'd make a bunch of flowers, and you just see the joy in their faces, and everyone feels great. So I thought, well, there was a gap in the market that I could produce flowers for flower subscriptions, and also our local veggie shop, because there weren't any flowers on this side of town. Just thought I'd give it a go, and best case scenario it works, and worst case scenario I've got lots of flowers to give to people. And so yeah, it worked. George had lots of fun. He did end up going to daycare because I realised it got bigger than I originally anticipated, a lot sooner than I thought it was going to, and I've just continued that juggle ever since. But yeah, we just have so much fun.
She grows many of the flowers herself in various garden beds and a greenhouse at home near the orchard where her husband works. Like any growing business, there's a rhythm to the seasons.
How many bouquets would you make in a day, roughly?
In the peak of summer, probably 10 a day. So what's that, maybe 50 to 60 a week. And at this time of the year, purposely slow, because I've got so much background work that I have to do with the flower field, basically farming. So in the winter I have to choose between farming and making flower arrangements, which I have to buy the flowers in for, which is low margin. So I might only make 10 to 20 a week. I grow a lot of flowers for drying as well, and I hang them up in our shed. And so if I'm feeling like I'm a bit overwhelmed with everything that's going on in the flower field, or just mum life admin, I will make up dried flower bouquets and put them in the stand. And then because they last years, I don't have to worry about the perishability and buying flowers and that might go to waste. A lot of my planning over the last year has been how to get flower varieties that can flower in the winter to bridge that gap between autumn and spring. So there's usually about a 3-month gap where I'm having to buy in a lot of flowers to supplement what I'm doing, but pretty much all of the foliage is grown here or at our old property. I've got huge magnolia hedges which I can still have access to, and pick that in that box them out a bit. But all of these flowers are long lasting, but these flowers in here are mine. So I've got anemones which are just starting. They're in my little hothouse. And so basically from now on I'll have more and more of my own flowers again.
Kate shares her tips for which flowers she likes to work with and why.
So in the summer it's definitely a mix of what focal flowers I have, so dahlias and zinnias. With the dahlia varieties, they aren't the best phase life, so I'm trying to find the dahlia varieties that will last. So you've got like the smaller pom-pom ball varieties will last a lot longer than the big flouncy dinner plates, which look really beautiful in a garden, but they might only last 2 days in a vase. So trying to strike a balance between what's pretty and what lasts long, and then trying to grow a mix of flowers for bouquet making for retail and then also events. So weddings are very busy in the summer, although I tend to shy away from them a little bit now that I've got young children. Trying to commit to something 1 year in advance. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in a year's time. But I've got amazing family support, and Blake, my husband, is really supportive as well. So if I am tied up with a wedding, I can usually bribe someone to look after the children so I can go and get it done. In the winter, my bouquet making skills different to the summer. So in the summer, it's all flowers, it's in abundance. How many flowers can I pack into a bouquet? It doesn't matter because I'm growing them all on site. If I run out, I go and pick more. In the winter, it's definitely a lot more strategic. You know, these flowers have cost me to buy in, so I can measure, you know, how much does this bouquet cost me to put together? What do I need to price it at to make it worth my while?
Kate shares some tips on how you, too, can make a beautiful bouquet.
A mixture of this sort of colour palette is very popular, and all of these varieties are long lasting. So we're talking proteas, gerbras, chrysanthemums. So these will last at least 1 if not 2 weeks if they're looked after properly. So people are getting value for money, and then also from my end, I'm not worrying about dealing with a highly perishable flower variety. Yeah, because I sort of came out of the fruit industry, which is perishable, and then decided, to really challenge myself and go into one of the highest perishable products you can get, which is fresh flowers.
Is the growing side of things, and the usual things that come with farming and growing, weather uncertainty. Does that make it extra challenging for you?
Yes, it does, because flowers are so much more vulnerable to weather events. So delicate. A raindrop can damage a petal, and then that goes to waste, or it will rot a lot quicker. Also, once a flower is ready, it's ready. It's not like a mandarin or an apple or a kiwi fruit that can sit there for another week or 2. When that flower is ready, if you don't pick it within 48 hours, it goes to waste.
So is it kind of, once you've got the main structure, you keep kind of infilling a little bit and fleshing it out?
Yeah, and like this is taking me way longer than I usually would because I'm
explaining it too. Having to think through many things, So
normally I have my key focal flowers that I know, like I want 1 protea, 1 lily, and then I'll have my other sort of filler flowers to the side where it's more of a, there might be 4, there might be 5, it just depends on how the bouquet is coming together and whether they all look sort of similar. Some might have a couple more than others, but as long as they're sort of the same shape and style.
That was Kate Briant of the Rural Florist in Gisborne and her little unhelper, 2-year-old daughter Emily. You can find more tips about working with flowers, including photos of the bouquets Kate was making, on our website, rnz.co.nz/countrylife.